What's going on, guys? Welcome back. Today we're doing something a little different, but something that I'm also really excited for. So, for those of you who don't know, I was actually just at the Georgia Regional Championships last weekend. Yeah, it's Friday now, so last weekend. And when I was there, I was actually able to record a bunch of my games. I missed rounds 2 and rounds 1 just because it took a really long time and my capture card was kind of being a little weird. But for the rest of the games, I actually was able to save the last game in every single series. So I thought it'd be really cool to record them while I was there, and so I did this whole convoluted charging station because my computer was dying, but I got all the videos except for rounds 1 and rounds 2, and so I'm really excited because I'm actually going to be able to show you guys real tournament matches with a real team. And so the way that I think this is going to work is just normal commentary from me. I'm going to pause the video at times so that we can slow down and actually analyze the situation. And also I've got my notebook here from where I took notes at regionals, and I'm just going to go through the information that I learned in games in the previous games so that you guys know what I know going in. And yeah, I don't know. I'm excited to do this. I'm sorry for any spoilers that you may have seen, because obviously I was posting on Twitter and stuff, so I hope it doesn't spoil any of the games for you. But yeah, so this is the third round. Like I said, I missed rounds 1 and 2, and it's versus a guy named, I have written down Jacob Pocta. I probably butchered that, but he was a really nice guy. He was actually just using literal big six: Talon, Groudon, Smeargle, Amoonguss, Xerneas, and Mence. And so my notes for the first game, for Smeargle, so game 1, he brought Smeargle, Xerneas, Amoonguss, and Groudon. On Smeargle, I wrote down Fake Out, Slow, question mark, slower than nothing. That's all I wrote. Slower than. So it's slower than something. I think it might be slower than my Smeargle. I think that's what it means. Dark Void and Follow Me. So we saw Fake Out, Dark Void, and Follow Me. Xerneas, we saw Geomancy, Dazzling Gleam, Protect, and Moonblast. So all 4 moves from Xerneas. Amoonguss, we saw Lum, Rage Powder, and Effect Spore. So that's really cool. And Groudon, we saw Precipice Blades and Fire Punch. And yeah, that looks like just about it. So yeah, we both had Smeargle. He was Moody as well. I wrote down the Moody boost, which is kind of why this round especially is hard to read. But yeah, so with that in mind, the game 2, Big Six is a matchup that my team was I felt okay with. I was a little worried about Groudon, but despite that, I felt like I had a pretty solid matchup. I just had to watch out for especially Special Groudon. Eruption Groudon was a really big threat to my team, and I didn't play that many throughout the day, so I was pretty fortunate about that. But yeah, we're gonna go ahead and jump right into game 2. And he goes with Xerneas Smeargle, which I thought was really interesting because, so what we learned is that we saw Fake Out, we saw Follow Me, and Dark Void. So we don't know what that last move is on Smeargle, but I'm assuming it's Spiky Shield, right? I'm actually going to pause the game after this turn 1 because yeah, I want to just take a second. So this situation, we've got Salamence and Smeargle, right, versus Xerneas and Smeargle, and they're both, so the position initially seems like one where the Xerneas Smeargle player has the advantage, right? Because my Smeargle is Crafty Shield, but I can't really threaten that Xerneas. We know that his Smeargle has Fake Out, and yeah, it just doesn't look like a great position for me to be in. But I do have Bronzong on my team, and so yeah, so just with this situation in mind, what we can expect the Smeargle player to do is because I'm faster, and we both know that my Smeargle is faster than his Smeargle. Excuse me, we can probably, so what I'm expecting here is, look at the situation, right? We can expect that his Smeargle is going to go Fake Out into something, probably my Smeargle, and he'll Geomancy. So with that in mind, this is, I choose to switch my Mence out. Mence obviously isn't going to do a ton here. I don't want to eat an attack, and there's no real reason for my Bronzong not to switch in here unless I expect a Dark Void. But I just go for the Spiky Shield here, expecting a Fake Out and Geomancy, and he's going to go ahead and actually launch that Fake Out into my Smeargle, which is good because I'm breaking that Focus Sash, and his Xerneas will actually go for the Geomancy. So I do trade here my Smeargle, or sorry, my switch. I got that free switch, and I got Bronzong into position, but I let him get that Geomancy, and I did break the Focus Sash. So overall, a good position. Once again, we saw Fake Out, we saw Dark Void, and we've seen Follow Me, so I'm assuming that last move is Spiky Shield, but because my Smeargle is Focus Sash, first of all, which is pretty significant, and his Smeargle is slower than my Smeargle unless Moody messes stuff up, we get a plus special defense, which is actually pretty good, and lower defense, not especially relevant right now, and his Smeargle gets plus special defense as well, with lowered special attacks. So let's go ahead and pause this real quick. Going into this next turn, I say, okay, I have Sash on my Smeargle. His Smeargle has Fake Out, Follow Me, and Dark Void, and probably Spiky Shield, because you want to run Protect on your Smeargle. And so with that in mind, I can just go Dark Void, Trick Room, and he can't stop me. But as we find out, he actually is running Crafty Shield, which is really not great because I just went for Dark Void and Trick Room, and so now this position, which was looking so nice for me, is not looking as great at all. Oh, I'm so sorry. Why did I do that? Oh, okay, so because he has Amoonguss in the back, or sorry, he brought Amoonguss game 1, and because my team is pretty weak, I didn't want to set Trick Room and then have him sweep through me with Amoonguss, so I actually do just go for the Gyro Ball here, thinking he can follow me and take the Gyro Ball, but he's going to sleep if he does. But I wasn't anticipating the Crafty Shield, so I do trade Gyro Ball here and get a good amount of damage. I get Moody again, and Evasion actually rises here, which is really nice for me, with an attack drop, which is totally not relevant. And his Smeargle gets Speed, which is scary, like very scary, and Evasion. So in this turn, I just go for the Crafty Shield, trying to stop that Dark Void. He could have gone Follow Me, but I thought that it was better for me to stop the Dark Void. And so he does go Dazzling Gleam, which is pretty scary. Dazzling Gleam, of course. Okay, so my Smeargle does avoid there, which is like pretty lucky. But it wouldn't have been the end of the world because so he goes for Dark Void. I block the Dark Void with my Crafty Shield. I dodge the Dazzling Gleam, and I do get Trick Room up. So even if, like, now that we've seen all his moves, even if my Smeargle had been knocked out there, I would have gotten a free switch to Groudon, and I could have gone Gravity, Precipice Blaze, and I don't think he could have done anything to stop it. And so I'm at plus accuracy, which is really nice right now. And he actually goes plus speed, so he's plus 4 speed on his Smeargle, and lowered special attack. And so, okay, let's pause this real quick. So this turn, right, so we've got Smeargle and boosted Xerneas, plus 4 Smeargle and speed, plus everything Xerneas in everything, versus Bronzong and Smeargle. And so basically the way that I thought about this turn is like, okay, what are his options if he stays in? He can, okay, so he can switch out Smeargle, right? But if he does and I Dark Void, he'll go to sleep. He can Crafty Shield, but if he Crafty Shields, he can't follow me, and if he doesn't follow me, he can't stop the Gyro Ball. Right, which is like pretty significant. So if I go Gyro Ball and Dark Void, I can cover all the options on the Xerneas because he can't simultaneously follow me, and he can't follow me and Crafty Shield, and not only that, but he's plus speed and I'm plus accuracy, so I have a 100% chance of hitting either a Gyro Ball or a Dark Void, and he can't stop me. And he can protect and switch, or he can protect and Dark Void, but then he goes to sleep for sure. And so yeah, with that in mind, I thought I had a really safe play with Gyro Ball and Dark Void, but he actually makes something that's like really clever and like really unexpected, for me at least, was switching out his Xerneas into Groudon. And that was so clever because when you're playing against Xerneas, like, you never expect them after the Geomancy to switch out. Like, it's very rare because, like, you obviously, like, oftentimes you invest a lot to set up, and, like, when you don't, like, you're counting on your Xerneas to, like, sweep. So switching it out was super clever, and I didn't expect it. And actually, this play covers everything that I could do, because I guess I could have Gyro Balled the Smeargle, but that wouldn't have made any sense. And so he actually does, like, play really smart there. And just covers everything, which I just thought was super clever. And keep in mind, Trick Room is also going away. So we had, I'm pausing again, Trick Room, so we had Trick Room, right? We had Trick Room goes up, we had, that was, turn 2 was last turn, so this is turn 3, I believe. Oh wait, Trick Room goes up, Gyro Ball, Dark Void. Yeah, so this was turn 2, this next turn is turn 3. Yeah. So that's really solid, to be honest. And so now he's in a really solid position because even though he is physical Groudon, he can still like threaten everything. And so his Smeargle goes for Crafty Shield here, which is fine. And I decided here to try and sacrifice my Smeargle because I didn't think he was gonna. I figured his Smeargle would Crafty Shield, and with that in mind, I just wanted to get rid of his Smeargle so that I can get my Groudon in and start sweeping. And because I saw both Fire Punch and Precipice Blades, I figured that it was pretty safe to go for a follow me, not expecting interruption. And I actually do get another avoid here, which is unfortunate. I don't think it was a hugely impactful because once again, if Groudon came in here, like, yeah, I lose Smeargle, right? But then I get Groudon in, and I can switch to Mence, and I can just go Precipice Blades, and he can't do much to cover it because unless I miss a Precipice Blades, like, or like he could crit me, I guess. But yeah, I still like my position a lot better. And so I do get a speed boost here, which is funny. But we're still in Trick Room, and I think we still have 2 turns left after this, so that speed boost is actually kind of not ideal. And so Talonflame comes in here, and I'm kind of worried about the Tailwind. So I'm just going Spiky Shield with Smeargle. I don't care if I lose one of these guys, but I don't want to lose them both at once. And so he goes Brave Bird into Smeargle, which is definitely a solid play. And I go Hypnosis, actually, because my real thing here was, like, I didn't want to set up Gravity because I didn't want his Precipice Blades to be, like, sweeping through my team. And I didn't want to... I didn't want to switch because I didn't want to have either of my Pokemon take a ton of damage on the switch-in. And so with that in mind, and also I'm going to pause here. Sorry guys, this is my first time doing this kind of thing, but yeah, essentially, like, okay, so the situation is Smeargle, and I'm going back a little bit, I know this turn is after, but the situation is Smeargle Bronzong versus Groudon Talonflame, right? And so my options are, with Bronzong, my options are Switch or Protect. Or switch or attack, and it didn't make sense to Gyro Ball anything, and it didn't make sense to set up Gravity, so I just thought, I'll go for Hypnosis. Like, I don't care if it hits, like, if it misses, like, I lose my Bronzong, but I'm okay losing Bronzong, because it gives me, like, a really nice free switch, because if I can get my Salamence in, for free here, that'd be awesome. You know, that'd be really good. Yeah, and so with that in mind, I just go for the hypnosis into the Groudon. It has above a 50% chance of hitting. It has a 60% chance of hitting, which is totally fine. If I hit it, it might have been better, like smarter to aim at the Talonflame and just guaranteed sacrifice my Bronzong. But I aimed at the Groudon because I don't know, I wasn't thinking, and I figured Groudon was the bigger threat. And so with that in mind, I was just like, yeah, this makes sense to me at the time. And I hope you understand why I did that, because like if you're watching this and you say, oh, Wolf used hypnosis out of gravity, like that doesn't make any sense. Like he was just gambling. But the real thing was, I didn't even care if it hit, because I just like I had to do something, and I didn't like. I figured even if hypnosis didn't hit, I liked my position better than if I set up like gravity, for example. Like, because think about if I set up gravity, right, and then I send in my Groudon and he goes Brave Bird Precipice Blades, or I send in my Mence. If he crits, if his Groudon underspeeds my Groudon, which it doesn't, but like. He can go Brave Bird Precipice Blades, KO both my Mons. I guess I could follow me, but it doesn't really matter. Basically, like, yeah, I like my odds best with hypnosis in general. And here I decided, like, okay, I'm just gonna get my Mence in for free here. I feel pretty good about switching in Mence. I feel it's pretty safe. He could get the one-turn wake up, but even if he does, my Mence should be making it through the turn with enough HP to take another Brave Bird, especially if he's still asleep. So he does go for the Precipice Blades here, and I do dodge it again. I think I'm at +4 accuracy at this point. I'm sorry, +4 evasion, but I haven't really been keeping track of this after the game, and I don't want to like bore you guys with the actual the actual stats. If you're interested, you can like pay attention and write it down in front of you, but it's hard to do just like watching. So I am boosted accuracy at this point, and so my Dark Void is going to connect. The Precipice Blades dodge was unfortunate. I don't know if my defense stat was around like +0, then I actually think I would have lived, because I'm a really bulky Smeargle. But yeah, like, I don't know where I was. And Trick Room does finally expire, but I really like my position at this point because, like, I've got both his Mons are asleep. They've both taken 0 turns of sleep. I have Mence. I have Smeargle. His Xerneas is super damaged as well. So I'm just going to Mega Evolve Mence here and go for the Hyper Voice, because I'm just trying to like get a lot of damage at this point. Smeargle's still around. Smeargle, every turn that Smeargle sits around and he's guaranteed to not be KO'd this turn, he's accumulating more boosts as well. And I'm already +2 speed, plus evasion, plus accuracy, plus special defense, though the defense doesn't matter at this point. And so I just go for the Hyper Voice, and I do pick up the KO in the Talonflame, which is like really nice because, yeah, like, because now he can't switch. Like, it's 4-2. I've got all this, like, all these stats. I've got all this Smeargle stuff. And I don't know, yeah, I just really like my position. So he sends in Xerneas here. Obviously, he doesn't have a choice. And because of the chip damage earlier from Gyro Ball, and I like, obviously, like, I went for Gyro Ball when I could have gone for Trick Room, but I didn't know he didn't have a Moongus. So, yeah, because of all this chip damage, and because of my accuracy and speed boost, this Dark Void is super safe. And that's, like, one of the reasons why I think, like, Moody... So, one of the original versions of this team, I was using own tempo, because I didn't like speed, like I didn't like my speed to be messed with all my speed control, but in the end I actually did decide to go for Moody, because it creates situations like this where if you leave Smeargle alone, it just like blows through the team. And yeah, that's the end of the game. So I do win this game 2-0. This is round 3. Good game 2. His name is Flynn Rider on Nugget Bridge, I believe. Jacob, he was a really nice guy, like not upset at all to have lost that. And yeah, I don't know, that was a cool game. So that was just like standard Big Six, with like a different. Normally the Groudon runs special, which I was pretty worried about because once again I was pretty weak to Groudon. But yeah, it was definitely a good game. And so yeah, if you guys enjoyed this video, please make sure to leave a like and subscribe. If you like this kind of content, we have a lot more of it coming, because I have it was 7 rounds of Swiss, I believe. Yeah, I think 7 rounds of Swiss, and then I have 2 Top Cut games as well to show you guys. So there's a lot more of this coming. I hope you guys enjoy. If you have suggestions, if there's stuff you want to see, make sure to mention it in the comments, and I will see you guys next time.